many games in my lifetime of gaming, but there's still a lot of them that I haven't even touched yet, including several beloved classics. However, I see no reason why it's too late to try them, and I'd say there's no better time like the present to experience them for the first time. Sly Cooper is a series of games developed by Sucker Punch Productions, and the first entry, Sly Cooper the Thievius Raccoonus, was the one that put Sucker Punch on the map as a developer. The most recent re-release of Sly Cooper 1 is an emulated port for the PS4 and 5, the latter of which I used for this video. The story follows our suave and sneaky hero, Sly Cooper, a raccoon who comes from a long line of master thieves. For generations, members of the Cooper clan have compiled and passed down their thieving techniques through a book called the Thievius Raccoonus. However, just as little Sly Cooper was about to inherit the book, his parents were killed by a group of villains known as the Fiendish Five, the book was stolen, and its pages were scattered across the globe. Now that Sly's all grown up, he and his two orphanage companions, Bentley and Murray, are off on a mission to finally retrieve the stolen pages and reclaim the Cooper family legacy. Meanwhile, Sly will have to evade the determined Carmelita Fox, who is hot on his trail and ready to put him in handcuffs. Don't get me wrong, this is a tragic backstory and all, but I can't help but think that having only one copy of the Thievius Raccoonus is a pretty significant source to these problems. I guess the logic behind it is that having multiple copies means more of them can be stolen. But even so, what if there was an accident with the book? I guess you better hope that the previous generation had it memorized. This is a 3D platformer, where you maneuver across obstacles in order to reach the end of a level to receive keys, which are needed to progress through the game. You'll also have to smack enemies with your handy-dandy cane, which is your sole method of attack. While this is all pretty standard for the genre, there are various stealth mechanics added to the formula. There are several enemies with pesky flashlights that you'll be wise to avoid, and make sure you perform a well-timed cane hit. There are also other lights that will fry you to a crisp if you're not careful, among other hazards.
Those rats got pegged.
Excuse me, what?
Those rats got pegged.
Another aspect that this game has in common with older platformers is its difficulty. You only have 1 HP, which means a single hit will send you back to the beginning of a level, or the last checkpoint you found. This is particularly frustrating when it comes to boss fights, as they have multiple phases. If you die, then you're forced to go back to the very beginning of the battle at Phase 1. However, you can occasionally find lucky charms that will give you an extra hit point, and finding another if you already have one will give you an additional hit point. You can also earn a lucky charm by collecting 100 coins. Notably, the emulated version for PS4 and 5 include emulator tools, including the ability to rewind and create save states. Is that cheating? Maybe just a little bit, but doesn't make evading enemy attacks any easier, or platforming timing any less precise. However, I'm well aware that this isn't the proper way to play, but it is a time saver for recording footage. While much of the gameplay is nothing too out of the ordinary for a platformer, the game has a distinct stylization known as toon shading by the developers. This means that the shell-shaded foregrounds of the game were meant to emulate the highly detailed backgrounds of animated films, all while being smoothly animated within the game. The result makes it feel as though you're playing a cartoon, which no doubt contributed to its success. So it sure is a good thing that there wasn't an animated film adaptation in the works that didn't take advantage of the game's signature style and changed it to more generic CGI-looking visuals. In between your typical platforming levels, you'll sometimes need to complete a minigame in order to proceed. How fun these minigames are tend to vary. The first one I played was one where I had to protect Murray from enemies as he ran to retrieve a key. To do that, you shoot at enemies from a distance before they can attack him. This one is pretty easy, and Murray even has a lucky charm to give you a second chance if an enemy does slip in an attack. Also, shooting Murray directly is considered a bad idea, because it instantly kills him. That did stop me from finding it funny to do so anyway though, because I'm a terrible person. Next up is a race. And it sucks. First of all, your vehicle starts off by trailing behind the other racers, which puts you at a disadvantage right off the bat. The controls are wobbly as hell, meaning the slightest bump will throw you out of whack, and you can forget about making sharp turns. Even using the nitro fuel you can pick up will only help you so much. Honestly, it seems like one of the main strategies you'll be using is hoping the other drivers screw up along the way, which will let you get ahead. After that, it's time to light 25 torches in 2 minutes. To do this, you need to collect piranhas to fuel your flamethrower. This one isn't as bad as the race, but still kind of a pain given the extremely tight time limit, and the fact that you could only carry 5 piranhas at a time. Next is killing 50 tickets within a minute and a half, all while avoiding the bomb-carrying roosters that will blow you up. It's a bit tough with the time limit, but not too bad, and the roosters are easy to avoid. We also have another Protect Murray segment, which again, is pretty easy. And again, I enjoyed shooting Murray more than I probably should have. I don't even dislike him as a character or anything like that. I'm just an asshole. Unfortunately, things get a lot less fun with another race. And to make things even worse, there are no ice patches you have to watch out for because they'll slow you down if you drive over them. Combine that with the already annoying driving controls, and I'm starting to feel a little less bad about shooting Murray earlier. The final stage of the game takes a pretty significant diversion from what we've seen previously. First, we have a fairly easy rail shooter segment, followed by a minigame where we need to grab 60 computers inside of a volcano before the fire slugs do. Luckily, you can shove the slugs back into the lava. A bit tricky, but not unbearable. One thing I found important to remember is to be careful that you don't accidentally push any slugs into any computers. There's a quick platforming level where we need to rescue Carmelita before having to play a hacking minigame. To do this, you need to shoot at these green data blocks in order to collect the yellow security codes. Not only will bumping into a green block take a chunk out of your health, but a security drill will send a one-hit kill missile after you. Luckily, you can destroy the missile by shooting at it. Also, be careful not to shoot the yellow security code, because that'll just send it flying away. After that, it's Carmelita's turn to protect Sly as he retrieves his cane in a Protect Murray style segment. While you unfortunately can't hit Sly, this also means that you can spam the attack button without consequence. Which is a good thing, because these fire slugs are much faster enemies than the ones we've previously had to shoot. One fast-paced platforming level later, and we're at the final boss. This is the climax of the game, and it does not disappoint. The boss's design is great, and he has a menacing voice that's fitting for the big bad of the story.
Revenge is the prime ingredient in the fountain of youth. I've kept myself alive for hundreds of years with a steady diet of jealousy and hate, awaiting a day when I will promptly eclipse your family's thieving reputation.
The first 2 phases require you to dodge his attacks while you're flying around in a jetpack. Finally, you'll need to platform your way to his head to deal the final blow. And all's well that ends well. Wait, what's on his computer? However, there's more to be done if you want to 100% the game. You'll need to collect all of the clue balls in each level, so that you can unlock the safes that are found there. You'll also have to complete the Master Thief Sprint's time trials. But all of that will be for another day. As a fan of the infamous games of Ghost of Tsushima, I'm glad that I finally played Sly Cooper. Even though there's nothing too different about it compared to similar games in this genre, one thing that it has is style, which I think is something that Sucker Punch still knows how to implement to this day, even as Ghost of Tsushima falls along the same trends that other first-party PlayStation titles have done. Not that I dislike those games by any means. I certainly like them just fine, and even then some. But I still think that Ghost of Tsushima is something quite special, and easily my favorite first-party PlayStation game of the PS4 to 5 era. That being said, it is a shame that there are no plans for the future of Sly Cooper, or any of the previous PlayStation mascots for that matter. There definitely is an audience for these kind of mid-budget, smaller-scale games, and those smaller aspects do not by any means indicate that there's less passion and work put into them compared to the massive blockbusters put out by AAA studios. Again, this is not an attack against those kinds of games, and there are plenty of them that I enjoy a lot. But variety is the spice of life, and sometimes, less can be more. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click like, and subscribe if you want to see more.